Once upon a time, at the edge of a vast forest, there lived a poor woodcutter with his two children, Hansel and Gretel. They were happy despite their hardships, for their father loved them dearly. However, their stepmother was cruel and unkind. One evening, as the cold wind howled outside their small cottage, the stepmother whispered wicked words into the father's ear. "There is not enough food for all of us," she said. "We must take the children deep into the forest and leave them there." The father's heart ached, but he was too weak to refuse her demands. Hansel and Gretel, listening from their small room, clutched each other in fear. Gretel whispering, scared, "What will we do, Hansel?" Hansel, determined, whispering back, "Don't worry, Gretel. I have a plan." That night, while everyone slept, Hansel crept outside and filled his pockets with small white pebbles. Before dawn, the woodcutter led Hansel and Gretel deep into the dark forest. The trees loomed tall, their twisted branches reaching like fingers into the sky. The children, unaware of their parents' plan, left a trail of white pebbles, hoping to find their way home. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the stepmother's cruel voice echoed, "Wait here, my dears. We will return soon." But as the night grew colder, the children realized the truth. They had been abandoned. Thankfully, under the silver moonlight, the pebbles glowed like tiny stars, leading them safely back home. But their stepmother was not so easily defeated. The next day, she led them even deeper into the forest, where no pebbles could guide their way. This time, Hansel crumbled his bread, leaving a trail of crumbs. Yet when night fell, they discovered their trail had vanished, eaten by hungry birds. Lost and frightened, the children wandered through the dark forest, their stomachs empty and their legs weary. Just as hope began to fade, they stumbled upon a most wondrous sight, a house made entirely of gingerbread, candy, and sweets. The delicious scent of sugar filled the air as Hansel and Gretel approached the gingerbread house. As soon as they took a bite, the door creaked open and an old woman stepped out, smiling kindly. "Come in, my dears," she said. "You must be so hungry." Unaware of the danger, the children entered. But the woman was no kind grandmother. She was a wicked witch. She locked Hansel in a cage and forced Gretel to do her bidding. "Fatten up, boy," she cackled, "for soon I shall feast upon you." Days passed, and though Hansel pretended to remain thin, the witch grew impatient. She ordered Gretel to check the oven, planning to cook her first. But clever Gretel played a trick. "I don't know how," she said. "Can you show me?" The witch huffed and bent forward to demonstrate. In that moment, Gretel summoned all her strength and shoved the old crone into the fiery oven. A terrible scream filled the air as the witch met her end, and at last the spell was broken. Gretel freed Hansel, and together they discovered the witch's hidden treasure, gold and jewels beyond imagination. Hansel and Gretel filled their pockets with treasure and ran from the house of horrors. Through the dense forest they traveled, their hearts light with newfound hope. As the trees thinned, a familiar sight came into view. Their home. Their father, who had regretted his weakness, wept with joy at their return. The cruel stepmother was gone, and at last the small family could live in peace. With their treasure, they never knew hunger again. And so Hansel and Gretel lived happily ever after, proving that courage and cleverness will always triumph over evil.